Welcome to Family Basics 101. I'm Dr. Bruce McClure, and as we conclude our 5-part series on domestic violence and abuse, today we will conclude by talking about the exposing of abuse and why it is so important for those who are involved in domestic violence or abuse to be comfortable in exposing their abuser. Let's define expose. It simply means to lay open to the harm and to the danger that rests within. It means to reveal the guilt and the wrongdoing that is being waged against an individual. And it also means to deprive of shelter, to deprive of care, and to deprive of protection. So exposing abuse means that the abused is going to lay open and reveal their abuser. The abused is going to reveal the guilt, and the abused is going to reveal the wrongdoing that is being waged against them by their abuser. It also means that the abused is going to deprive their abuser of a safe haven. The abused is going to deprive the abuser of a shelter where they can commit their wrongful acts and expect to receive care and protection or cover from the person who is being abused. So when we talk about exposing abuse, it really boils down to that person who is being abused regaining control and power over herself or himself from the person who is conducting the abusive behavior. What are you going to expose about abuse? First, you're going to expose the jealousy. Abusers are jealous people. You're going to refuse to allow you to no longer to have no friends. You're going to take back power, and you're going to tell that abuser that you're no longer going to segregate yourself from individuals that are important in your life. Abusers take away your friends. Abusers sneak up on you. They're spying on you. Abusers are constantly accusing you of being out of character with your actions, when in fact the abuser is out of character with their actions. So what you do in exposing an abusive person is say to them, you are the jealous individual, and I'm going to expose your jealousy to the public. You're also going to expose the control of the finances or the economics of the relationship. People who are abusers will make their spouse, make their girlfriends, or make those who are close related to them, whether it's a work relationship, whether it's a social relationship, basically plead for financial funds. Every dime has to be justified by the abused. The abused has to make up his mind that it is okay for the abused person to receive funds. You must do what you're told in order to receive the funds from the abuser. So you expose this control of finances. Also, you expose unrealistic expectations. The abuser expects that you must meet absolutely every need of the abuser if you expect to get any type affirmation from the abuser. And no matter how you try to meet the expectations of the abuser, they are all unrealistic. And by the time you think you are approaching meeting those unrealistic expectations, the bar moves, and you are no closer to achieving that goal than you were when you start. So you're going to expose how unrealistic those expectations are. You're also going to expose the isolation. The abused person must give an account for every phone call, if in fact they are even allowed to have a cell phone. If they make calls on a home phone, they must make sure that the abuser gives them permission to talk on the phone. And the abuser will monitor their calls. The abuser will actually tell them how long they can talk on the call. The abuser will make the decision as to whether or not you can go out. And if you go out, you go into the grocery store, for example, you must be home in 45 minutes. That's isolation. You can't talk to anyone along the way. You're scared to speak to anyone. You're scared to look anyone in the eye. That's isolation. So you're going to expose the isolation that is being conducted upon you by the abuser. You're also going to expose the physical contact, the physical abuse that is being meted out by the abuser. You must be willing to tell reliable sources the truth about you being hit, you being shoved, you being pushed, you being spit upon, and even your life being threatened. You expose the physical abuse. You also must be willing to expose the sexual abuse. Whether it's from a bad date, whether it's from incest, from a family member, from a spouse, from a co-worker, from an authority figure, expose the sexual abuse. When you expose the abuse, you are laying it open, you are revealing it, and you are depriving the abuser of shelter. And in fact, you are taking control of your life. Let's talk about the taking control and what exposing abuse really accomplishes. Potentially, it accomplishes breaking a painful cycle for self and for future generations, because people are watching you. People are looking for someone to be the banner carrier to break the cycle of abuse. Next, it allows you to reclaim power and control over yourself. So exposing the abuser accomplishes within the abused a reacclamation that I am in control and I do have power within myself. Exposing abuse is telling the abuser that what they are doing, what they are asking that is unrealistic, is not okay, it is not acceptable, and it is no longer hidden. So you are accomplishing by exposing the abuser, regaining control, reclaiming that you are valued. In the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 19 and 20, the text says, what? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost which is in you, which you have of God, and you are not your own, for you are bought with a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. You reclaim what God has told you. Your body is a precious gift to you from God. And when you expose abuse, you are reaffirming to the God who created you that indeed his gift of you is precious. And you will never allow another person to abuse, to mistreat that which God has said is beautiful and precious in his sight. I hope these lessons have strengthened you, that if you are in an abusive relationship, that you expose the abuse and that you walk away. I'll see you back in class again next time. Don't be late and don't skip class.